All right, very good to have you back for the very second segment of this program. Good morning, Anambra. Well, we're discussing something very important. I'll tell you the honest truth. I am pained, very pained about what we want to discuss this morning. Yeah. Yes, and we'll be talking about protecting journalists. That's the topic we'll be discussing on this morning.
And are you a journalist?
We are journalists.
Exactly my point. So we will be talking about how we are going to be protected because a lot
has been happening. All right, well, let's get to tell you that we have some very important guests in the house this morning who's going to be doing justice to this topic, protecting journalists. First, we have Mr. Emma Ifesinachi, the NUJ chairman of Anambra State. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Good to have you. And also, we have Mr. Chibuzo Okoye, ABS reporter. Honorable Chibuzo Okoye, many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, good to have you this morning. Talking about protecting journalists. Well, who are journalists? What is protection? And how can journalists be protected? Well, let's get to hear you, the NUJ chairman, Mr. Ima.
Yeah, a journalist is a practitioner that is trained to, investigate, write a report, and air the report. Is a person that is have the prerequisite qualification to discharge such statutory responsibility to the public.
All right. Why do they really need protection? Because we are talking about protecting journalists.
Yeah. The job of journalism is such a critical function in the life of a society. It cut across the strata of the society, and because of the nature of the function, certain segment of the society doesn't like their actions and inactions to be reported.
All right, well, let's hang that there. Let's pause that there because a lot will be discussed on this topic, protecting journalists. We have a video that has to do with what we're discussing this morning. Let's see the video. We'll be right back.
The protesters who blocked the Okozo axis of the Enugu-Onitsha Express Road, as well as other adjoining roads in the area, forced motorists plying the route to retreat or face their mob treatment. ABS News crew heard several gunshots in the air, apparently to force the protesters out of the major roads and the vicinity of Nteje police station. Unfortunately, 3 people have been hit by bullets and rushed to the hospital as at the time of filing this report. An eyewitness, who is an indigene of Okozo, Mr. Emmanuel Mofnaya, told the ABS that the young Chibike was going to buy petrol yesterday night when the police patrol team allegedly chased him till they rammed over him, leading to his instant death. In a telephone interview, the police public relations officer, Mr. Haruna Mohammed, confirmed the death of Chibike, but however said he died when his motorcycle collided with a tricycle while he was making a U-turn.
All right, you see the reason why I actually said I am pained when we actually started this particular segment of the program. And that report was from Chibuzo Okoye, the man seated here with us in the studios. Let's get over you, Chibuzo. What really happened that day?
Thank you very much. We went on our normal assignment. We are told that police vehicle overran a commercial motorcyclist the previous day. So we have to went to Okozo on that day. When we got there, we met what I would call very fierce, angry mob. They barricaded the Okozo Enugu axis of the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway, and when we got there, actually, they were not that fierce. We interacted with them. We interviewed some of them, like you saw on the television. But things changed immediately because, let me say this thing here, we must condemn without fear of favor the attitude of some Nigerian police officers. We are there. What, brought up this whole violence, as the case may be, was that even that morning, while they were still mourning the dead, another guy was shot.
Right
there. You saw that. If you want to put that video again, you can put it. You saw that guy that was being conveyed with a motorcycle was shot in our presence.
For what?
I don't know. For exercising his, civic duty by protesting the alleged murder of his brother. Remember, the young Chibika Kaniru happens to be the only child of his parents. Now, when you hear the story that he was going to buy petrol and the police stopped him, remember, Okada ban Okuzu is not affected. So Okada is allowed to move in Okuzu, and the other areas around there. So they stopped him. The story was that they stopped him. He stopped. They demanded some gratification from the guy. The guy said, "I don't have any," and he zoomed off. Now, when he zoomed off, they started, chasing him till they used their vehicle to ram over the guy, and the guy fell down and died instantly. So, right in our presence, they shot another guy. So the whole thing turned to what I would call a war, because you could see it on that video that you saw policemen shooting.
Now you were the journalist, the reporter that reported. That's the ABS vehicle that was dismantled and destroyed. You were the reporter that reported that incident. So how was it when you went there? Because it was reported that you were assaulted and the cameraman, phones were stolen, money was stolen. How was it? What exactly really happened?
Okay. On that aspect, I will say that we still need reorientation of our youth, reorientate our youth. Most of our youth, I'm sorry, are not civil in the attitude. Most of them are not civil. So what happened was that we came there, I don't think, because first, like what my chairman said, people need to understand the roles of journalists. People need to appreciate. You don't kill the messenger. The messenger has the message. And when you kill somebody that is bringing you a message, you won't have the opportunity to benefit from the information he has. So you don't kill the messenger. If you see Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, you see CNN, BBC journalists covering this. You will see journalists interviewing terrorist groups. So if they can allow a journalist to interview them over these are men and women, or let me say men, that are ready to die, suicide bomber. But you will see journalists asking them questions because they want people to know their grievances. They want people to know why they're agitating. They want people, and government will even benefit from that information so that they will know how to strategize and face them. Now, when we got there, when policemen shot the other guy, now they changed automatically. They were like, we are on the part of the police, we are aiding the police, even when all of us we are running for our lives, So before I could know what was happening, they surrounded my cameraman, Mr. Johnson. And God did wonders that day, because if you see the size of this stone that was thrown to this guy, it hit his back. I ran to the guy. I said, within 10 seconds, over 20 guys surrendered my cameraman, Mr. Johnson. Now, because I fortunately, I came from that side of Anambra State. I came down and I was like, what was his crime? And remember, these guys were out. They were smoking Indian hemp. They were taking dry gin. And Prince, you see a scenario whereby people are acting. Nobody is saying stop. The only language they understand, they still want to hear that is, let's go ahead, let's move on, let's move on.
So basically, if not for the fact that you actually speaking the language, like you said, Johnson would have been moved. And I also learned he's in the hospital right now.
Yes. It wasn't a funny situation, I must tell you, because when they hit that stone, he told me, Chibuzo, I am wounded. And I was like, can you guys see what you've done? And you know, had you been in somebody like me that has it?
All right, what was their reaction when they noticed that this guy was already hot?
They don't want to care. They don't care. They don't know. It's none of their business. They don't want to know anything about that.
Quickly, let's move over to the chairman. Talking about protecting journalists, is there a committee or a body responsible for the protection of journalists, or should we, the journalists, protect ourselves?
Yeah. First of all, we need to protect ourselves. We need to take a certain protective measure.
So how do we do that? Because as regards to what really happened, how do we go about it?
Yeah, we are professionals.
Okay.
In any profession, there are certain safety measures that are prescribed for that profession.
Can we answer this call? Good morning. Good morning.
All right, go ahead.
You know, there are certain protective measures that are prescribed to that profession. Okay. Like in journalism, you know, experience has shown that, under such a situation, Chibuzo was there and Johnson was there. But what attracted them close to Johnson was that camera.
Yeah.
You know, when you, under such a mob situation, if you are having camera, you need to hide that camera, because that camera is what will attract the attention. Okay. It has happened in Norwich. Okay. It has happened various places. Okay. You know, we have been, in the course of our, training, we have been talking to our colleagues that, there are certain bits that require, adopting those protective measures. Mm-hmm. Because you have to save yourself first. It is only when you leave that you will tell the story. Yeah. We are equally trying to package another one between 7th and 14th of October, in view of the election we are going to have early next year. Okay. So we keep on reminding our colleagues, on these measures we need to take. We are equally liaising with the law enforcement agencies to help protect the journalists. The journalists need to be protected because the function of a journalist is key to the development and life of every ideal society.
All right, in line with protecting of journalists, you just said how journalists themselves should protect themselves, because we know that there was a research that was carried out between 2006 and 2015. 827 journalists have been killed, and then this thing keep reoccurring. So what's the role of the government and probably the media organization that these journalists are working for? What are their roles in protecting journalists too?
The role is there. The role is there. The Constitution give us the latitude to perform our statutory function unhindered. Okay. Even this latitude was amplified in the Freedom of Information Act. Okay. It is the responsibility of the police, the law enforcement agencies, to protect not only journalists, every citizen of this country. All right. Journalists included.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a very big problem. And the problem is, when we talk about protecting journalists, mothers of journalists in areas of conflict, almost all of which have gone uninvestigated, unsolved, and unpunished. And, this has shown the inadequacy of the international humanitarian law. Now, this is not a phony issue. We talk about, thank God that Chibuzo is here. The colleague, Johnson, the cameraman, is at the hospital receiving treatment. Yeah. And we're talking about journalists going to do their job the best way they should do it and come back unhurt. And most times, most cases, most of these journalists get injured, get assaulted, even get killed in the process. And most of those cases has gone uninvestigated and unpunished. What is responsible for this? Is it that the country at large, or the federal government, or the committee, or the body responsible for protecting journalists are not, meeting up to standard?
Yeah. We are discussing this matter at the national level. It is the responsibility, the statutory responsibility of the national body of our union to take this matter. We have recorded we have records of those incidents that has happened in various parts of the country. We know that there is insecurity in this country generally, and generally journalists are equally affected by that. We are making sure that those people that are responsible for clean up journalists, punishing the journalists unduly, are brought to book. We have taken the records. The records are there. We are pursuing it. Just last week, one of the matters we are called up in a court in Abuja. We want to take that civil steps by taking the matter to the court, so that the court will now prescribe on what should be done. So that is that.
All right, let's come to you, Mr. Chibueze. Okay. When you were narrating your ordeal, you were mentioning that these people, the youths or the mob that attacked you, they don't really know the worth of journalists, what they are there, because they are the messengers with the message. So what do you think that we need to do to maybe let this one or enlighten these people, this youths or the general public, that see, journalists are equally your friend. They came to take the message for you, maybe to relay it to the appropriate authorities.
Thank you very much. Like I did said earlier, reorientation. But like Chairman said here, let me say that we took all the precautionary measures, all the safety measures as journalists. Remember what I said earlier? We were there. We are chatting with them. They don't have any issue with us. So there was no atmosphere that could bring that such information that we would run or Johnson will stay out of them. So we are discussing, interviewing them. We have interviewed that guy. You saw when those guys were shouting, "We don't want police, we don't want police." As at that time, we are friends. We are brothers and sisters. So it is immediately police shot the young man that the atmosphere changed. So, but like what you asked me now, I think it's still reorientation. Because if it is in a civil society, I could remember during Obasanjo era, when militancy was at its rise in Nigeria, a particular television station went to the creek in Niger Delta, and the militants conveyed their reporter and their cameraman around the creek. Just to tell you that these guys knew the worth of journalists. So they knew that these are the people that would tell the world why they were doing what they were doing then. Now, our people need to be told that, one, a journalist is still a member of that society. Two, a journalist is a messenger.
All right, thank you very much.
If you kill a messenger, you've killed the messenger.
You kill the message. Well, thank you very much. Let's move to you now, Chairman. Unfortunately, Nigeria continues to rank high among countries with press freedom and freedom of expression under threat, starting from the database of its Safety Alert Desk. Reveals less than 14 incidents of assault, threat, battery, arrest, kidnap, and killings, and invasion involving journalists and media institutions within the last 1 year. Now, what is really wrong with Nigeria as a country as regards to protecting journalists?
Well, we need to, or rather, the umbrella body is taking it to the doorstep of the security agencies. While we are trying to take our own, adopt this protective measure prescribed by the profession, we need to be protected by the institutions.
Excuse me, sir. Your name and your location, please. Is ABS TV. Your name and your location.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Is that ABS television?
Yes, it is. What is your name?
I want to contribute to the discussion going on.
But then your name first and your location.
Hello?
We can get you. You're connected. Just go ahead. Tell us your name, then go ahead with your contribution.
As regards to this discussion that's going on about journalism, it's unfortunate that most people in Nigeria are highly ignorant of the duties the journalists are doing. And so far, so good. Without journalism in Nigeria, the people will be intact. Or without a good reportage, you won't know what is happening. So the people fighting journalists are highly ignorant. If they know that it is the work of the journalist to make information which people don't actually get. So for the protection of journalists, I would rather suggest that in their training, they should be able to be taught how to defend themselves. Journalists should learn stuff like taekwondo, the first-hand defensive.
Okay.
Measure.
All right, thank you so much for your contributions.
Because you can't stand for somebody to die between you. The first law of a man is survival. You must defend yourself.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Time is really not our friend. Thank you very much. The chairman, you actually heard what he said, talking about the journalists should go into trying to learn the martial artists and trying to defend themselves.
It's part of it.
It's part of the safety measures.
Yes, it's part of it.
Time is really not our friend, but let's quickly talk about something they called press on COF, where journalists get to go cover a public interest story and they get jailed for it.
It's part of the problem we are facing now. In the last 1 month, a couple of journalists were arrested, detained. There is a case where a journalist is detained for 2 years without trial.
Recently, Abiri was...
yes, that is the case in point. Detained for 2 years, no trial, no nothing. But incidentally, the union waded in, and the matter was he was released.
10.5 million.
Yeah, the matter is in court. I don't want to start discussing it because it's already in court.
Yes.
Let's allow. We are trying to ensure, like my colleague just said, we want to adopt a system where the society will be educated, enlightened on the function of a journalist and the need for them to be friendly with, so that if the media if we start experiencing this incessant attack, are we going back to the dark age? We need to know what is happening around us and even beyond.
All right, when there are issues of threats on journalists, some of them are being threatened, maybe after they must have written a report and all that.
Yeah.
Where should they report? The appropriate authority where they should report that men are being threatened by life.
Yeah, I said the law enforcement agencies has it as their statutory function to protect every citizen. Okay. Report there, report to the union. Okay. While they are doing what they are doing, we in the union will be monitoring what they are doing. If we are not satisfied with what they are doing, we know what to do to ensure that justice prevails.
All right, we have a reaction speech by the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of the ABS, and let's get to hear what he has to say. The MD of Anambra Broadcasting Service, Nzemo Chawara, regretted that the villagers had to take the law into their hands. It is unfortunate what happened, the killing of Chibike Akaniru by the police, but beating innocent people up, harassing them and destroying vehicles is hardly the solution to the problem. Why attack innocent journalists doing their lawful job? We have never witnessed such vicious attacks on our staff before. This brings to the fore the dangers journalists face in Africa while trying to do their job. Our cameraman, Nicholas Johnson, is in hospital at the moment for X-ray and other tests. He took a big whack to the back, and we hope that his spine has not been injured in any way. And that's actually coming from the MD of this great media institution. Okay, we don't have time. Time is not our friend. 1 minute. Quickly and briefly tell us, what is the way forward as regards to protecting journalists?
The way forward is, members of the public need to know and appreciate the function of a journalist and need to, cooperate. The law enforcement agency should show particular interest in protecting the journalists. Yes. The journalist is a major stakeholder in the project Nigeria.
Beautiful. Quickly, in 2 seconds, Chibuzo.
Okay, like he said, educating our people, telling the society that, like he said, journalists, we do a very tedious job. And the society need to appreciate the job of a journalist. Imagine waking up a day and you discover that there is no radio station, no television station, no paper to read, and everything is like that. How are you going to cope?
All right, thank you very, very much. We really want to appreciate you coming for the program, Mr. Emma Ife-Sinachi, NUJ Chairman, Anambra State. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
And of course, our very own Chibuzo Okoye, our very own reporter that went to the Lion's Den and survived. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you. All
right, it's very good to have you. And this is actually the more we have for you on the segment of the program. And we are taking our leave now. I'm going with my gorgeous Queen, Dimma.
I'm going.
It's Friday.
Today is Friday.
So we're going to have a good time, right?
We're going to see at the end of the show.
All right, I'm going to go bringing to you the news at 9 o'clock. And after that, Sports Today will be taking the center stage. We'll be right back.